Hey everybody, I think I'm up. All right, y'all know the drill. Somebody get in the comments and tell me if you can see me. All right, because this I can never tell. Sometimes I'm here and sometimes I'm not. So if you can hear me, if I've made a connection here, let me know if you can see me. All right, give everybody a chance to get logged in. I was wondering if the late sunshine was going to hurt our numbers. So we'll see what happens here tonight. I got 90 here so far, so hopefully a few more people will jump in. Tell me if you can see me. I hope you all can see me. So, all right, cool, very good. We're going to be looking at a couple of weeks of the devotional tonight and doing that. So hopefully get a few more people in. I don't know. I got 90 here tonight, so we'll give them a minute. Just got out of youth group as we normally do, and had a great discussion. Had a whole ton of kids. Let me show you what we had here. I'm gonna do this the old-fashioned way, online. Look at this bunch. Can you guys all see this? That's how many kids we had here tonight. Can you all see that? That's how many kids we had here for Wednesday night. Had quite a crew in here, and what a great bunch of kids you guys have at this church. Just wonderful. And so good looking bunch. Yeah. So all right, everybody. Let me give a few shout outs and let me see what's going on with you guys. I got 10 of you. Everybody needs to get inside. It's time change, I think, messing this up. All right, here. Let's see. Amy Hogshead says, "Happy Wednesday and happy St. Patrick's Day." I want you all to see. There's my green right there. See that green? Yep. I got my green on tonight. Same to you, Dave and Amy. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And Amy, praying for your cat. And I know that's a difficult thing. We've all lost pets before, and that's bad. Well, hey there, Chuck DePoy. I'm assuming this is Bev. I hope Bev and Chuck are both here. Hope you guys. It's good to see you guys. They're throwbacks from my Forest Park days. So glad to have you guys tuning in with us, and you're always welcome here. So I know Bev, you often watch the live stream, but I think you said you've normally seen it like after. So I'm glad to have you here for one live, and hope you'll jump in to the comments here tonight, and we'll talk. That's great. Angie Myers, love the weather. Who didn't love the weather? Goodness gracious, what a beautiful day it was. I have not heard good things about the weather the next couple of days. That does not please me, but it is what it is. So, hey, Teresa Bitters, Jess Mack is joining. Oh, hi, Jess Mack. I'm glad you're one of the chosen 12 here, and joining us from Delphus. Glad to have you guys on. Let's see here. Dave and Amy are here. Good to see you. Daryl Louth is in the house. Has a nice ring to it. And Daryl, glad to have you on, buddy. Appreciate you being here. I got a few people hear me. Hi, Tina and Mike Bird. Good to see you here. Marge Whitling, who has had a surprise gift bestowed upon her at Kroger today, and she was super excited about that. So excited that she returned it, which I don't know why she did that, but there you go. So Marge was out receiving gifts at Kroger today. Under her windshield wiper on her car. So, all right. Yeah, great group. Absolutely. Thanks, Bev. Great group of kids. You know it. And hi, Crystal Dove. Long time no see. I mean, we haven't talked in like 10 minutes, I don't think. So appreciate you coming out tonight, and I hope you got that paint off your fingers. Crystal was painting today. She looked well painted tonight. So hopefully she was able to get that paint off herself. Hey, Scott and Jan, glad you guys are here, and hope things are going well for you. And it's good to hear from you, being a part of our conversation here today. All right, I have another visual aid for you here. This was on my desk tonight when I came back. I'm going to have to tilt the camera here. The little kids downstairs had a project where they were working on a snack, I guess I would say. And here's what was on my desk when I came back down. You guys see that? That's a Peep driving a Twinkie. So you see the marshmallow tires, and he's got the little pretzel steering wheel and the pretzels for the axles and the marshmallow tires. So he looks like he's getting ready to drive in the Super Mario Kart or something. But that's what the kids were doing tonight, making Peeps driving Twinkies. So it's kind of like this. So that was on my desk. I thought I would share it with you here tonight. So, all right. Okay, well, I hope you guys were taking me serious about making some comments on your book, which I got right here. Great Blue Bunny Batman. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah, Amy, it is amazing. Yeah. And it's always cool. Let's see here. What the heck page are we on? All right. Yeah, this week we're going to read about a donkey. So we're going to start on page 23. I think that's the right place. And I'll start at page 23 and we'll kind of work from there. And I hope you guys have tell everyone the ingredients of Twinkies, Tim. Partially hydrogenated yellow number 5 and so on and so forth. So, and Twinkies, well, they're packed with awesomeness too. So, hey, Scott and Jan, glad you guys were here. All right. We're going to start at page 23. So if you got your book and want to follow along, I'd love to have you do that. And we're going to talk about what's going on here. Now, how many of you looking at March 11th here, page 23? It's the story where Jesus was like, all right, disciples, I want you guys to go over that town over there, and you're going to find a donkey that's tied up, and I want you to untie the donkey and bring it back here because I'm going to ride this donkey. Now, the weird thing is Jesus never said, go ask this person or go see if they care, see if maybe somebody rode the donkey here, maybe planning to ride it home. No, none of that. Don't check with nobody. Just go untie it. And, if somebody mentions, hey, what you guys doing with my donkey there? Just tell them the Lord needs it. It'll be cool. I feel like the people who were the owners of that donkey were strangely okay with this. Somebody jump in the comments and tell me. I use I gave you a multiple choice quiz here. I said if I were to walk out into the parking lot tonight after this live stream, and there were some people trying to pry the door of the Beetle open, and I say, guys, what's going on? And they say, well, the Lord needs it. Am I going to give them the key, or am I going to pass out free concussions to everyone involved? I'm probably going with the concussions because I just got the Beetle back from the garage, and I have no intention of parting with him. So, I just anybody else but me see this? I mean, these people seem strangely okay with them borrowing this donkey, and I'm trying to figure out or what would have happened if they hadn't have been there and they just came back and the donkey's gone. Doggone it. That doggone donkey probably untied himself and took off. I mean, this seemed very strangely okay with that. And you gotta hand it to the donkey that what a docile animal he must have been. Because he's being ridden by somebody he clearly doesn't know. I mean, we don't know that Jesus and this donkey ever met before. So he's met by being ridden by this, and then he also is riding into a crowd that we're going to find out, is this kind of wild crowd. Think big sporting event, and this wild crowd is going crazy, and the donkey's like, yeah, cool, I'm cool with this. So very special donkey indeed. Now, to Amy's question, why would he need a donkey? Well, that's an interesting thing. Because oh, hey, Jack and Cheryl, I just saw you guys popped up, and lucky you, mine is still in the garage. Yeah, that's where the Beatle's going to be shortly after the live stream tonight. So why a donkey? I mean, Jesus had walked everywhere. I mean, he rode a boat. I'm trying to think of everything we heard of him riding. We have no record he ever rode a camel. I mean, we assume he did. We don't know that he did. We do have stories of him riding in a boat. Don't have any record except for this of him riding donkey. So he doesn't have a big history in that. He walked everywhere. And surely Jesus would have been able to walk into Jerusalem and make this walk. Yet he enters on a donkey. That's a very interesting question. Why did he do that? He didn't. Again, didn't have a big history of riding animals places. Why does he ride this one? And I'll tell you, the donkey is a statement, because the welcome that this crowd gives in Jerusalem when he comes in with the palm branches and all this, pomp and circumstance and everything else. Hold on here. Pomp and circumstance and whatever else was all about. The welcome of a king. Whenever a leader of another city, or maybe a leader of whoever would have come into town, this is how they would have welcomed him. Waving of the palm branches and the putting of coats on the ground and the cheering crowd and all these different things. So they're welcoming a king. Now, do you think many kings rode into Jerusalem, one of the most important cities in the area? Many people rode in Jerusalem. Many kings rode in Jerusalem on a donkey that were greeted this way. I'd be willing to say Jesus was probably the only one who pulled that one off. So the donkey is a statement. The donkey is a working class mode of transportation. It's kind of like driving a beetle, I guess. It's about humility. It's about humbleness. It's not a flashy or showy thing at all. I mean, if he'd have rode in on a big black stallion, or maybe rode in on an elephant, or rode in on a dolphin, I mean, that would have been pretty impressive. But to ride in on a donkey would have been a statement of humility. Jesus was a common person, or was identifying with a common person, and that's why he rode in on the donkey. So it's very interesting that's the way he went, because clearly the donkey wasn't necessary, because Jesus could have made this walk himself, but the donkey was a statement to everyone about what kind of a king this was, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Jesus went so far out of his way to make such a profound statement. And maybe they heard Jesus was coming to town. They were honored to use it. That could be true, but they weren't in Jerusalem. The town where the donkey was the Bethphage or Bethany in the Mount of Olives. They weren't in Jerusalem. Now, again, Teresa, doesn't mean you're wrong, but maybe they heard Jesus was passing through the area. But it's very interesting that he went in and did this. Bev says, think about Mary riding a donkey before he's born. Oh, there's a parallel. I guess he did ride a donkey. I guess I stand corrected. He did ride a donkey, and maybe that's what it is. He planned to go out the way he came in. I mean, that makes sense, as much sense as anything else. But that's very interesting. Let's see. He knew it. Tina Mike said he knew it was there, and maybe he talked to the owners prior to this event. Maybe, but we don't have any record of that. But yeah, he very well could have done that. And Janine, hey Janine Goodwin, glad to have you here tonight. Thanks for tuning in. And it was a statement. Yeah, Jan, I agree. It was absolutely a statement on just the state of what was going on. And what a powerful statement. And this would be like Joe Biden riding into St. Mary's in a Volkswagen Beetle. It would be that kind of thing. It's like, should he be in something bulletproof at least, or something, worthy of the president of the United States? And no, Jesus wasn't interested in any of that pomp and circumstance. He was certainly there to greet the crowds. He was happy to see them. But he wasn't putting on a show for him. The other thing that you need to keep in mind, and this will probably come into play in the next, as we finish out this devotional, is this is the same crowd that's going to be shouting for blood in a mere 5 days. So he entered on Sunday, to the great delight of the crowd. They're all like, oh yeah, praise the Lord, it's Jesus, it's awesome. And 5 days later, they're going to be shouting, crucify him. It's the same people. It's the same crowd. And that's, again, something that we need to keep in mind, how fickle crowds could be. And, I think we see this a lot. We see this today, not so much people like us, but celebrities and people who have big social media influences. Holy cow, the world could change for those folks in a heartbeat. One little drawing and Dr. Seuss is canceled, and one little statement of saying we need to show grace to this bachelorette contestant or bachelor contestant, and maybe we should hear her side of the stories. The host says, and he got fired, and not a lot of grace out there, and that's how fast a crowd could turn on you, go from celebrating you to canceling you. I mean, in a heartbeat, and I mean that's that principle goes clear back to biblical times. We're going to read about it here. So, in a mere 5 days, they went from Hosanna and hail the King to kill that man, and that's a pretty big that's a pretty big gap to get over. So, all right, let's turn the page over to page 24. And if you guys have made comments or anything you want to say, please don't make me talk this entire hour. I would love for you to make comments. It's a lot easier for me to bounce off what you guys are saying than to keep coming up with stuff on my own. So, if you guys want to say, please jump in and say it. Now, and doing a little background work on this day's reading, this is Jesus cleansing the temple, when he goes in and gets in the temple fight. And one of the things I found was very interesting that I did not realize before is there's like an apocryphal, like an oral tradition, like a story that's not in the gospel, but it was sort of a traditional story around the gospels, that when Jesus went into the temple and got into the fight with the money changers. Now, you know how the story goes. They're in there, trading doves and trading, whatever, and taking money for that. And Jesus goes in, starts kicking tables over and letting the animals go, and basically makes a ruckus of the whole thing. Well, there's a traditional story that I'd never heard before, that amongst all of the chaos, which you can imagine was a lot of chaos when this was happening, were a bunch of people scrambling to collect the money that was thrown on the floor. Because you can imagine if you've got a box of money and it breaks open and the coins go flying everywhere, people will be grabbing those up. Well, there's a story out there that one of the people who were out there collecting these coins and picking them up was a man named Demas, 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 and he was arrested as a thief, tried, and ended up being one of the thieves on the cross with Jesus, one of the two thieves. Because it says here, this is the moment that they decided, the powers that be decided, this guy's got to go. So because people were scrounging up money off the floor during this fight, they were arrested as thieves and crucified right along with Jesus. So the two guys that were on the cross with Jesus were here. Now, again, there's no scriptural evidence to say that's what happened, but that's an apocryphal story. I just found it very interesting. I share that with you just for fun, but I think that, and it does kind of make sense, because Luke tells us straight up that this is the moment that the powers that be decided Jesus has got to go. This is when they make that decision. And so it makes sense that the people who were involved in the tipping over the tables and the stealing of the money might get the same fate Jesus ended up with. I mean, that does kind of make sense when you look at it that way. There's no scriptural evidence for that, no verses I could point to say that's what it was, but there's certainly nothing here that contradicts that. So I found that to be very interesting. The other thing that I find is interesting about this, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit in my comments, was I wonder what Peter was thinking. I wonder what Peter was thinking while this was going on. Because according to the way Luke tells it, and I can go back here and verify this, Luke has Jesus riding into town, big fanfare, palm branches and cool stuff, and everybody's excited. All that's going on. And it seems like Jesus gets off the donkey, gives the donkey a little scratch and says, that a boy, you the man. And the donkey knows his way home, walks on home. And it seems like Jesus walks directly to the temple and gets in this fight. Okay. And it seems like that happens pretty quickly. I wonder what Peter was thinking, because in the midst of all this, you've got this adoring crowd. I mean, if you want to start a revolution, if you want to, become the most famous person in the area, I mean, this is the time. Palm Sunday is the time when that needs to happen. So Jesus has the attention of the crowd. He's got everybody there. Everything's gone, great guns. And what does Jesus do? He goes down to the temple and gets in a fight. Jump in the comments. What do you think Peter was thinking at that point? To see Jesus go from a celebrated celebrity to the temple fight. And, what seems to be basically that's the next thing he did is he went down there and got in a fight. And I'm going to give a few shout outs. I'd love for a few of you to make some comments. What do you think Peter was thinking? I mean, I included this because it's such an important part of the story, but I mean, nowhere does it say, well, Peter was freaking out. I wouldn't have any problem believing he was freaking out. But what do you think Peter was thinking? And hey, Eric, glad you guys are here tonight and back from a walk. Beautiful night for a walk. I was out for a run this afternoon. It was just gorgeous. So, hey, Suze, glad you made it home after youth group. And Scott says, never heard that before. Makes sense. Yeah, about the thieves on the cross, I think you were talking about. So, anybody want to make a comment? What do you think about this? About Peter? What do you think Peter was thinking? Because he had to take a lot of this in, and we're not told what he was thinking. So, I just find that interesting. Nobody's got a theory? Nobody's going to give me nothing? All right. Have it your way. So that's fine. I'm going to go on because I can't stand here with just this pointed at my head and my mouth not making any noise. So Jesus was acting like an idiot. Yeah, Peter probably did think that because to go get in a fight and basically poke the sleeping dog was probably not what anybody thought he was going to do. Confused and didn't understand the chain of events, Teresa. I mean, I don't know how he could not have been confused because this would have been a lot to take in. From the donkey that they borrowed basically without asking to the welcome of the crowd and then the temple fight. So, all right, well, Jesus then goes from there. Okay, so he went down to the temple, he raised some Cain, and really, got in this fight and messed up some stuff. And Peter's pretty much wondering what the heck was going on, Scott. I don't know how he could be thinking anything else. And again, that's the exact question everybody wants to know. If we turn to the next day, and this is one of the readings where after I thought about it, Jesus kind of comes off like a jerk in this one. We've kind of seen this growing tension inside of Jesus that started clear back when Moses and Elijah met up with him during the Transfiguration. So we've kind of seen Jesus get more and more frustrated. And, Jesus knows the score here, so he knows what's going on. And so he's there. And so Jesus goes in, gets in the temple fight, kicks the guys out, turns over the tables, makes a big problem. And the authorities then come and say, the powers that be come and say, by whose authority are you doing this? Now, I've always before read this as, well, who do these authorities think they are asking Jesus all these questions, But after I got to thinking about it, if I come into the sanctuary down here as the pastor of this church, and let's say Josh Barnes and April Johns are down there punching each other out and knocking pews and stuff over, and I'm just like, you guys let me know what you work out and leave. I'm not really doing my job. At some point I got to ask these guys, what the heck is going on here, right? And those two love each other, so they're not doing that. But I just. I think they have to ask. Don't they have to ask? I'm pretty sure that nobody wants, if somebody throws a brick through the window and I catch them, I'm going to say, why did you, at least have to say, why did you do that? Don't I at least have to do that? I know Bev will back me up on this. When I was at Forest Park, we did have somebody throw a brick through one of our windows while I was there. Just broke one of them. And interestingly enough, The person who threw the brick, the only thing that was busted out, because it was Forest Park has all these stained glass windows. That's the entire story of Jesus's life. And somebody threw a brick at one of them and busted it out. And we went and looked, and I said, look at the only thing that's busted out. And it was Judas's face. From the window that was Judas accepting the 30 pieces of silver, his face was the only thing that was gone. I thought, maybe there's a statement there. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if I would have caught that person who threw the brick through that window, you for darn sure better know I'm going to ask them, why did you do this? Jesus went and got in a temple fight. I think if the powers that be don't at least say, why did you do this? I don't. What they're just taking up space at that point. So I always thought that Jesus, was like being challenged here. And we can all say, look, the cleansing of the temple and the temple fight and opening it up, get the market out of the way so that the poor people can come in. Sure, we all think that's a great thing. But, if somebody comes in and gets in a fight in the church, I have to ask them why they did it. I mean, at the very least, I have to ask them that. So the powers that be go and say, hey, what's up with this? And Jesus is like, all right, make your deal. Make your deal. Did John's authority to baptize, did it come from heaven or was it merely human? And the authorities were like, what? I mean, seriously, what are we talking about here? So they confer amongst themselves. And they're all like, all right, this is a problem because if we say it was from God, then Jesus is going to ask us why we didn't believe him. But if we say it's from man, these people are going to get mad and start rioting and stuff. So they come back and say, I don't know. I don't know. And Jesus is like, well, fine, then I'm not answering your question either. Now, again, at first glance, it seems like Jesus is the one getting challenged here. But after what Jesus did, I feel like he could answer this question. So I'm sort of torn now about what's going on here because I never thought about it that way before. I mean, look, even if the religious leaders were as corrupt as they could be, which I mean they were, they at least got to ask him why he did this. They tore up the temple and did all these. They at least have to ask that question. And it's I don't know. What do you think? Jesus kind of comes off a little brash here, I think, where he's like, I would tell you, but I'm not going to tell you. I mean, that's basically what he says. And I really think the religious leaders were certainly within their right to ask this question. But apparently Jesus didn't agree. So, oh, thanks, Bev. Yeah, backing me up on that Judas's face. Scott says everybody was playing their role in God's plan the way it had to be. Yep. And Peter probably was thinking that at some point. Is Peter thinking, have I made a mistake for following him? I think Peter thought that more often than the Gospels led on, because a lot of the struggles he has is the struggle of doubt, especially when he's like, Jesus, who? I mean, we're coming to that part. And Peter was probably in shock, couldn't believe what was unfolding. I had no doubt that Peter was really struggling with what he saw going on here. All right, going on to the next day. I'm on page 26 now. Okay, so now Jesus is starting to he's really got everybody's attention. Okay, so the entrance with the donkey and the cheering crowds and the temple fight and the religious leaders that Jesus basically embarrassed and sent home. And so now the religious leaders who have decided Jesus has got to go, they're like, all right, so what we need to do is we need to find something to charge him with. And they're like, well, we don't really have anything. So they're like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get some guys, because we can't go because everybody knows who we are. So we'll get some guys nobody knows and send them in there to kind of rabble-rouse and see if they can ask Jesus a question and make an accusation and that could do it. Jack says Jesus knew their hearts and motives for asking the question. I think we can say that about the religious leaders. Maybe so. But I still think they had a right to ask the question. Even if their motives were wrong, I still think they had a right to ask the question. I mean, Jesus went in and wrecked the temple. And you could say that that had already been done by those by that stuff being sold there, and you may be right. But I still think I still think they were within their right to ask the question. Again, even if their motives were wrong, if there's no scenario where somebody could come in and do tremendous damage to this building that you all wouldn't expect me to. At least go ask them what is going on here. You know, I feel like that question is perfectly valid, even if the motives were poor. Janine says Jesus is reacting as the God part of him. His father has put up with the trashing of the temple, and Jesus reacted. Okay, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it even says that, you know, you've made my father's house a den of thieves, and it was supposed to be a house of prayer. And so clearly he was offended. I hate that word. I'm not using that word. He was clearly angry on his father's behalf. And that offense came out aggressively, to say the least. So, okay. So in order for the people, or in order for the religious leaders to carry out this plan that they have to get rid of Jesus and use the Romans to do it, they need something to charge him with. I mean, Jesus got to do something. Now, why kicking the tables over the temple wasn't motivation enough? Again, we can debate that, but it wasn't. I mean, that's simply what it means. So it wasn't enough to get the job done, literally. So they sent these guys out and said, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ask Jesus a bunch of politically charged questions that we can get him in trouble with the Romans. That's what we want. Go see if you could trap him in something. And they said, everybody hates the tax collectors because, you know, the world was so different in those days than it is today. But everybody really hates the tax collectors. Ask him a question about paying taxes. So the guys are like, got it. So they go out, and now Jesus is teaching, and the guy's like, I have a question. You know, we know, Jesus, that you're the man, and you speak what is right, and everything you say is correct, and you're just totally awesome and just great and awesome, and I'm wondering if you would, you know, autograph my shepherd staff while I'm here. And by the way, I have a question. My question is, you know, should religious people who are good with God, should they also be paying their taxes to the Roman government? And they like hold out their little pocket recorder here so they can get his answer. And Jesus was like, and you know, he was not fooled. So he goes, well, all right. Anybody got a coin? And somebody pulls out a coin and obviously says, whose picture's on this? And they're like, well, Caesar's. So fine. He throws the coin back at him. He's like, give that to Caesar. Give to God what's God's. And the amazing thing is here, these guys who went in and agreed to try to trick Jesus or try to get him back him into a corner intellectually, which they were ridiculously overmatched, by the way. But all of a sudden, they're like, they were converted. I mean, from what it says here, they're like, wow. It says they were amazed. So they were like, dang, not only did we not just catch him, but he's starting to make some sense. Because the one thing, and I said this in my comment on this day, the one thing that nobody has yet, you know, decided to consider is, what if Jesus is telling the truth? Everybody's assuming that he's either a crackpot or another weirdo or whatever. Nobody stopped to think, you know, what if this is real? And again, I'm not blaming them for that. I mean, there's certainly plenty of reason to doubt because there hasn't been an empty tomb yet. The empty tomb left no doubt, but that hasn't happened yet. So I understand that they're probably struggling a little bit, and so they go in there. They're clearly not convinced. They ask their trick question. Jesus nails it. I mean, nails it just without mercy. Just gets the absolute right answer. And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I think we're changing teams. Friends, that's the power of the Holy Spirit working right there. And I know the Holy Spirit hasn't come on the scene yet. In Luke's account, that doesn't happen until the book of Acts. But that's the Holy Spirit working, where you took a skeptic. No, not even just a skeptic, an aggressive skeptic. Somebody who's there for the sole purpose of trying to trip Jesus up. And you took that person and turned him into one of the insiders. That's a pretty good trick. To I mean, that's a pretty good feat to pull off, and Jesus was able to pull that off with a simple answer. He convinced the aggressive skeptic, because you got people who are skeptical who are like along the edges going, I don't know. These guys were aggressively skeptical. Their whole point being there was to prove that Jesus was not what he claimed to be. That was their purpose in being there. And if you could convince that guy of the truth, that's doing something. These guys were not coming seeking. They were not coming, looking for answers. They were not coming on some kind of spiritual quest. Nothing like that. They wandered up, asked her question, and they went from, we're going to get this guy, to this guy just got us. And yeah, so it's a big thing. A lot of people, and Jewish people that still today, don't believe in Jesus. That's true. There's a lot of people out. There's a lot of Gentiles out there who don't believe also, and a lot of people who are struggling with what it means to have and or be the Messiah. And we as his body, that's our role, is to be out there helping those folks along. So, all right, good. Yeah, keep those comments coming, guys. I appreciate hearing from you. I like to know that my feed hasn't dropped. So, all right. All right, let's go on to the next date. All right, page 27. Page 27 is a very strange series of conversations Jesus has with the disciples. And again, Peter would have been right there for all this. And I want to kind of put a little perspective on this. Okay, so they're at the temple. In their opinion, I mean, this is like going to Disney World. This is like the greatest of the great. To be there, to see these massive, beautiful structures, the center of spiritual life of any Jewish person at that time. I mean, this was the highest of the high. This was the coolest place to be. And you all know, as you look around, about, when you see things in the world and you're impressed by them. Earlier today I was outside and it was just so beautiful. I stood on the step out here and I just took a minute just to take it in, because the weather was so nice today, and it's been cold and whatever. So just to take in something like that is great. You all have been at a place where the view was awesome. Something in nature or some structure, that was manufactured or something. I've just been impressed by it. So we've all been there. So we know what the disciples are experiencing, just awe and wonder of seeing the temple. So they're all like, dang, look at all this. Amazing. And Jesus is like, they ain't going to last. It's going to fall down. It's like, okay, they're Captain Buzzkill, So, and we know, you read in my comment that in the year 70 that it does come down. The Romans eventually go through and destroy the temple, and there's just one wall of it left in Jerusalem now. And here's a trivia question. Can anybody tell me what's built where the temple was at this time? What's built there now? See if we can get some trivia. Tell me what's built there now. Does anybody know? A very specific structure is built on that spot. So I'll wait up here for you guys to get on that. Tell me what's built where the temple is now. The Wailing Wall is what's left. It's the one wall of the temple that's left, and that is there, but that's not what was built at that spot. But the Wailing Wall is a part of what's left there. And I've actually been there. Has anybody been there to the Wailing Wall? I've seen it in real life. In 97 when I was in Israel, and I got to write out a prayer request and stick it in the wall, and it's quite a thing to see. You might know what's built where the temple was. I'll let you guys sort that out. So if we don't get an answer by the end of the live stream, I'll tell you. And don't be looking it up. Any of you who are typing into Google right now, knock it off. Both of you are correct, Jack and Scott. It is a mosque, but it's a very specific mosque known as the Dome of the Rock. Dome of the Rock. Very good, Angie Myers. It's the Dome of the Rock. And that's what's built there now. And so that's what's on the site now. And there's a lot of culture that goes into that. Maybe sometime in one of these live streams, if we have an open night, I'll talk about some of the stuff from Israel, because there's a very interesting history of that. Big round structure. Yes, sir. Teresa, it's known as a dome. Dome of the Rock. Very good. Very good, you guys. Okay, so they're seeing this big impressive place. And Jesus is like, nah, there's nothing. It's going to get torn down anyways. And then Jesus says, the whole world's going to come apart. Now, for him to say the temple's going down, I mean, that would have been bad enough. There's going to be earthquakes and people turning against people, and all this crazy stuff is going to happen. And all of a sudden, the disciples who, 5 seconds prior were like, wow, look at all this, are now going, oh man, we're in trouble. I mean, that again, talk about turning on a dime. Here's another one. And he's talking about all this. And then Jesus says something interesting. And I made a note specifically to talk with you about this tonight because Parker and I dealt with this very same topic in the Rage podcast. So any of you who watch the Rage podcast with Parker and I, we dealt with the same topic. And everybody give a shout out to Parker. He does a lot of work putting those things together. But all right, so let me read this to you, and this is what I want to comment on. I'm starting in verse 15. Let's start at verse 14. So don't worry in advance about what to answer the charges against you, for I will give you the right words and such wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to reply or refute you. Even those closest to you, your parents, brothers, relatives, and friends will betray you. They will even kill some of you. And everyone will hate you because you are my followers, but not a hair on your head will perish. By standing firm, you will win your souls. I am equating this to cancel culture. I think that's exactly what Jesus is talking about here. Now again, it has been other things down through the years, but in 2021, this is cancel culture. This is Jesus addressing cancel culture. Don't worry because people are going to hate you, and they are going to hate you. And it's going to happen. And every once in a while, I got to go through comments on some of these YouTube videos and delete some off because it get flamed on some things. And look. I have concerns. I have concerns myself. All my sermons are here online. These live streams are online. The Rage podcast is here online. A lot of the stuff is out there, and I know that my day to get canceled is coming. Since the Rage mob is able to find anything on anyone, I pray every day that when that time comes, I'll be able to take these words that Jesus says here, because to be able to stand up to the mob. Because, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you're in a career like mine. And one of the things that he says here, actually one of the things he leaves out here, and this is one of the big mistakes that people make, because you all, unless you're living under a rock, you have seen victims of cancel culture, and they try to apologize their way back into the good graces of the mob. Now, you tell me how many times that ever worked. Teresa was talking about a round structure. Well, the answer to that question as to how many times someone has been able to apologize their way back into the good graces of the mob, that's also a very round structure known as 0. It never works. The mob never forgives. The mob has no grace. Jesus doesn't say apologize to them. He doesn't say grovel to them. He doesn't say beg and plead to them. He basically says state your case, stand your ground, and have a good life. That's what he says. So that's the way we can deal with cancel culture and the poison that is. And I agree with you, Amy Hogshead. Cancel culture is not good, which is a dramatic understatement. It is definitely not good. Jack wants to know, was Jesus frustrated with them or redirecting their attention from worldly wonder to the kingdom? Yeah, he was trying to redirect them back toward the actual kingdom. I don't think there's any doubt of that. But you have to admit that was kind of a I don't know, kind of a harsh way to do it, where they're like, look at this temple built to honor God. It's amazing. And Jesus is like, that thing's going to be toast. I don't know. I may be making too big of a deal of this, but I just feel like Jesus was not interested in entertaining their awe and wonder of this structure. And because he was trying to point them back toward the kingdom, but I just feel like he was a little short with them. And I think this is part of the growing frustration that I pointed out a couple of times since he had the conversation with Moses and Elijah. So all right, let's turn the page. We're getting to our last day, and we'll have a few minutes here at the end. We may sign off a little early tonight. I'm on page 20, page 28. Oh, wait, that's not the last day. I'm sorry. We got 2 days left. Maybe we're not getting out early. My bad. All right, I think we could dispense with this day pretty quickly. This is what we read on March the 16th, which would have been yesterday. Jesus is talking about, okay, so he goes from talking about how the temple's not going to last, which we now know it didn't. But he also talks about, and it's going to get worse than that. All these signs and powers of heaven and earth are going to be shaken, and just a lot of general mayhem and destruction. It's going to be going on. But one of the things he talks about here is that in the midst of all these things happening, there's still going to be signs. And, they're going to be there for you to see. Now, whether or not you see them, it's kind of on you. But the signs are going to be there, and they're going to be available for you to find. I'd really like it if you'd see them. I think you'd be better off if you'd see them, but you don't have to see them. If you just want to say doom and gloom and everything's bad and the whole world's falling apart and everything's terrible, I guess that's your right. But God is going to be revealing to you along the way that there will be some opportunities to experience God in your midst. But you got to do the work to see it. Sometimes the world is going to get real loud and real chaotic and real crazy. And it's going to be difficult to be able to discern, where God is in the midst of what's going on. The sign's going to be there, but you got to do the work to see it. And I think that's an encouragement today, and we're living in a time when, just unprecedented disasters. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves that there are signs out there that God is still in this with us. I hope that in fact, this is the reason this live stream even started. You guys remember back a year ago when we started doing this live stream, it was all about bringing people together because of the COVID shutdowns, which was just about a year ago. And I went every night for 3 months. We all got together. You guys remember that? And then kind of scaled it back a little, but it was all about, trying to do what we could to give hope to people. That's why I started this. And my hope is that it has been encouraging to you for this year that we've done it, and that we have the chance to encourage each other to be a part of, what's happening. But you got to do the work. In this case, you got to click onto the live stream, or I can't help you. Or you got to, now you got your book to read, and you got to do the work to do those things. But the signs are there, and they may not be as obvious as we'd like them to be. Certainly not, but the signs are there. They're there for the seeing. If you want to do the work. So, all right, let's go on to the next day, page 29. And thanks, Jane. I know you remember. You guys have been around since the beginning, and I appreciate you being here. All right, for today's reading, we were talking about Jesus says, okay, so he's given now a warning. He says, don't be carousing and don't be participating in drunkenness. I think that's pretty good advice. I would advise you to do neither of those things, because that's not only going to be a distraction away from what's good, it's going to invite evil and debauchery of all kinds into your life. And I think we all could agree that as the less amount of that we have, the better off we are. So, all right, we're going to get interactive. I'm going to make you guys talk to me here a little bit. Distraction, carousing, and drunkenness. I think those are pretty obvious ones that we, not that people don't struggle with them, but I think those are obvious ones that would definitely take you away from where you want to be, and definitely away from where God wants you to be. So I'm going to ask you for some examples. What are some examples that you have observed or that you are aware of, or maybe that you struggle with yourself, that can be things that will dull your heart, as Jesus says here in verse 34. So things that will dull your heart and make you a little less aware of what's going on, or distract you away from what's good, or put blinders over your eyes so you can't see what's good. Pull the shade down on you or whatever. What are some things in your life that do that? That end up being that for you, and could really take you in a direction that is not healthy for you, not good for you. And I'll share one. One that I struggle with is I have to watch my diet. I find that when I'm eating better and not taking as much carbohydrates and things like that, and I got my protein intake up where it belongs and that kind of stuff, I really feel better. I'm much more focused, and I know, you know, little things like this thing here on my desk. Death trap for Pastor Tim right there. As cute as that looks, this is something that could get Pastor Tim in a lot of trouble. So, um, yeah, and so I have to be careful about that because I know that if I don't take care of myself, then I can't. I'm less effective in what I'm called to do. My energy level is down. My focus is down. My drive is down. I want to go home and take a nap and stuff like that, and that's not good. I shouldn't be feeling. I have too much to do to be doing that. So that's one thing I've noticed is the better I deal with myself nutritionally. I don't even know if that's a word, but I just made it up. But the better I am nutritionally, the better pastor I am, the better person I am. But I can accomplish God's tasks that He sets out for me every day much better if I'm caring for that component. So give me some examples. I see Amy agrees with it. Diet is a big thing. Bev says gossip. Gossip, man, that's a fun one, isn't it? To really just get somebody out and drag them through the mud. But that doesn't take us anywhere good, and that's something we want to be careful for. Oh my heavens! Yeah, Tina and Mike and Teresa Bitters have just hit a big one that I struggle with as well. Listening and watching crazy politics is one. Stay away from that stuff, guys. Overdoing for everyone else, ignoring your own spiritual life. Yeah, we can get distracted with that. News on TV, Tina and Mike, absolutely. Because I don't care what happens, there's never good news. You ever notice that? The newscaster never says, "Oh my word, the greatest thing just happened." That never happens. So yeah, Jack, I see struggles with that, paying too much attention to negative news, and you got to remember, it's all negative news. If it bleeds, it leads, and that's how it works. Sue says sometimes you take care of everyone else and forget to take care of yourself. It seems we got a couple moms in here struggling with that one, but yeah, that's a mom thing. But yeah, and taking care of yourself means different things to different people. It could mean taking care of yourself socially, which means find some healthy outlets to do things with. It could be take care of yourself nutritionally, like I was talking about. It could be exercise. It could be rest. It could be time away. It could be downtime. It could be some kind of recreational activity. I made a purchase this week, and if I got a few minutes at the end, I'm going to tell you guys about it. But I'm really excited about it. I can't wait. So, talking about recreational and downtime, we're going to talk about what Pastor Tim wastes his money on. So, so yeah, we'll talk about that here in a minute. Any other things? Neglecting Bible studies. Man, something about the Word. I have a book I'm reading. I read a lot, and the book I'm reading now is a fiction book it's called Another Kingdom by Andrew Klavan, and it's something I've been excited about reading for a while, and I finally secured a copy of it, and I got it on my Kindle at home, and I've been reading it. I'm really kind of into it. It's kind of sucked me in a little bit, and I enjoy that. But as much as I enjoy reading that book, and I enjoy the story because it's Andrew Klavan's a great writer. As much as I enjoy that, it's not the same as reading the Bible. It's just not the same. Nothing wrong with reading. Look, I'm a humongous proponent of reading. Humongous. I mean, you won't find anybody more pro reading than this guy. So if you're reading comic books, great. Reading books, great. Reading some kind of spiritual lift book and stuff, great. Because I love Jesus, but I love reading too, and I think reading is very important. So. But there's nothing like reading the Bible. There's nothing like it. I was working on the new sermon series today. I know a couple weeks from Easter, and got to have a sermon series for after that. And I'm looking at doing a sermon series on the book of Ephesians, and because I don't do a lot with Paul. His letters are so hard for me to preach on because I love the stories, as you all have observed. I love the stories of the Old Testament and things. I love to preach on those because sometimes Paul's letters are just a little too on the nose. I feel like you could read any one of Paul's epistles and be like, all right, y'all do that. Amen. I mean, they're so straightforward, but we're gonna take a trip after Easter, our post Easter, between Easter and Memorial Day. We're gonna take a vacation together. We're all gonna go on vacation to the city of ancient Ephesus, and we're gonna learn about some of the cultural trends and some of the things. We're gonna read about Ephesus from a few of the other books of the Bible. Ephesians is mentioned, the Revelation. We're gonna start with that one. There's a big section in the book of Acts where Paul does some work in Ephesians from Acts chapter 19. We're going to take a look at that. And then we're going to read through the book of, well, not the whole book, but most of the book of Ephesians for the sermon series. So I hope you guys will look forward to that. Okay, that whole thing was to say, being able to read up on the background of Ephesus and the book and some of the themes we're going to encounter. Going to be super fun. It's super fun for me. I hope it's super fun for you. But being able to learn about Ephesus and learn about the book of the Ephesians, I think you guys will really enjoy. So, yeah. So, I see Bev. I got Bev's seal of approval on Ephesians. Excellent. Ephesians is a great book. Tina Mike says, maybe we should start a positive only news channel. The world needs more. Yes, we have started one. It's called the Wayne Street United Methodist Church YouTube channel. That's what we do here, all positive stuff for the most part. So, trying to lift you guys up and put a smile on your face here on these evenings together. And I do some political commentary, probably a little more than I should, but it's I look. We at the church, we exist because of the good news. That is the gospel, and no matter what else is happening, the gospel is still true. And I try to always focus on that during our time together. And I would love to do a news podcast. We did that for a while here, and you guys didn't seem to be as into it. Where I was kind of talking about some political, some of the news of the day, and that didn't seem to go over very well in this format. But I enjoy talking about that, and something fun for me. So I enjoy the scripture for today that I received, but I need to read the Bible. Yes. And that's right. And keep reading that Bible because it's good for you. And it's something that's very, very uplifting. Even the depressing parts and the parts that are a little, not as fun as, say, the book of Ephesians, you still get something out of them, even if they're a little dry, some of the sections. I'm fighting my way through right now some of the books of the ending of Deuteronomy, and some of that gets to be a little tedious. So, all right. Well, I promised you guys I was going to tell you about my new purchase that I'm kind of excited about. Now, you all know that I am an avid magnet fisherman in the summertime, and I am looking forward to getting back to that here as soon as the weather will allow. But I made a purchase the other day. I did some reading and some research, and I have bought myself, I paid $85 for it. So I'm even going to tell you how much I paid for it. I blew $85 on myself, and I bought a remote control boat, a nice one. I'm planning to take it down and drive it up and down the canal by the towpath is my plan. And I read some reviews, and it's one of the higher reviewed ones that was at least within my price range. I mean, some of those things get really expensive, and I thought $85 was about my top end. But I'm looking forward to that and to take that down there. And I want to take it out to the lake and drive it around and stuff. And it's talking about recreation. That's why I got it. And so some of these summer evenings, I'd love to go down there and drive my boat around the canal or out on the lake and things. I figure I already own a kayak, and you can't really live in St. Mary's and not have a watercraft of some kind. So I got me a remote control boat, and I'm looking forward to getting that out. It's supposed to get here on Friday, so I'm hoping we'll be able to get out and do it. So some of you, I know Eric, you spend a lot of time down on the towpath. Maybe we'll be down there some night, and you'll see me driving that thing around. So. More pastor rap videos. Love the one for Easter. How many of you saw my debut as an international rap superstar? That was I sent the link out for that. Have I named my new boat? I have not. Yeah, we're gonna have. It's gonna be the USS something. We're gonna be up on that. Why is Susan Eggery saying "wow" to me? Suze, why did you say "wow" to me? You're not questioning my status as an international rap superstar, are you? I want to know if anybody saw my rap debut and when I was just throwing rhymes all over the place. Anybody see that? Okay, so Cheryl Miller enjoyed it. Yeah, we had Had a good time. I had my homies there, which were some of the other pastors here in town, and we're trying to encourage people. We're Easter weekend, the back to church weekend, so we want people to come back. Come back to church. And I tell you what, here, hold on one second. Hold on one second, everybody. Let me see if I can find it here. Hold on one second. For those of you who may have missed it, I'm going to post it here in the comments. Oh, where's that? Here it is. All right, here it's coming in the. Now, be careful when you click on that because it will take you away from the screen. So don't click on it till we're done here, which we're just about done, or hit open a new window. But that's your pastor's debut of being an international rap superstar. I know that some people have watched that and they're concerned that I'm going to abandon my career as a pastor to take up being a rap artist. I don't know that it's come to that yet. I'm talking to a few agents and I've got some background stuff to take care of, but I don't have any plans to leave in the next couple of weeks anyways, till my career really takes off and the rap, I don't know what it is, sphere, whatever it is. Yeah. Who are the new singers and musicians at Awaken? They are friends of Jody and Josh's, people they have met through their work in JoJo McZunk. And I'm going to have to apologize. I don't know their names. I've met them a number of times. And we love all of our musicians, but they are certainly a shot in the arm. And y'all just wait till you see what's going to happen on Easter. Josh has got epic is the only way I can describe it. So not that you didn't need any more reason to be excited for Easter, but be excited for Easter because for the Awaken. I mean, both services are going to be amazing, but Awaken is going to be something else because Josh has got a big thing planned. I also want to say to all of you who join us for church, either join us live or join us online, you're going to notice a little different in church this week. The lights are all fixed. The lights actually work now. The light that blew out the one Sunday, some of you may remember, blew out and blew glass all over me that one Sunday. Those are now fixed after a year. And let me tell you something. I didn't realize how dark it was up there until now. Even on the live stream, if you join us online, you should still be able to tell a tremendous difference. So you guys will enjoy that. And not all the lights are installed. So what you're going to see Sunday is just this much of a whole thing because Josh is showing me, we're going to be able to have lighting effects and things, and it's going to be really something. So just wait till Easter. I'm excited for Easter anyways because Easter's worth being excited about, but it's going to be really amazing, and I'm so excited about it. So, but that's who the new singers are, and the one girl who sounds like Melissa Etheridge, she drives clear from Bluffton. So that's kind of cool that she makes that kind of commitment to be here. How about Tim's Bat Boat for the name? Well, we'll see. I normally name all my stuff Bible names, so I'm gonna have to give some thought. That's the thought to that. Crystal says, "Don't quit your day job." Ouch, Crystal. Dang, I didn't think it was that bad. So, but we had quite a thing with that. That was something Rick Shear, the pastor out Living Hope, talked us all into, and I'm not going to listen to Rick anymore after that. So. Eric, looking forward to it, buddy. I am too. I can't really wait. Easter's awesome. Easter's awesome by itself, but to be able to have all this new stuff is just icing on the cake as far as I'm concerned. So, all right, fantastic. I think we have come to the end of the line here tonight, guys. So I appreciate you all coming out to be a part of this. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about my new boat a little bit, and I'm excited about that. And again, maybe if you're down at the towpath or out on the lake sometime, you'll see me driving it around. So anyways, we're going to keep at this. We'll be back here next week and for a couple more weeks anyways. And yes, Suze, I'm just happy we can have church this Easter too, because it's been 2 years since we've had an Easter service. So this is going to be really something to experience. So fantastic. All right. Well, you guys all have a wonderful night. I appreciate you all being here. Just thank you for tuning into these crazy things. And I love you all very much. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sundays. And y'all know what you need to go do now. Go wash your hands.